do racist parents try to ruin your life? My parents arranged for me to marry my 45-year-old uncle when I turned 18 because our family believed that keeping bloodlines pure was more important than my feelings about sleeping with my own relative. My family was obsessed with our supposedly superior genetics and claimed we descended from some ancient bloodline that needed to be preserved at all costs. My father would rant for hours about how outsiders would dilute our perfect DNA and destroy generations of careful breeding. He kept disgusting charts on the wall showing racial statistics and would point to photos of mixed-race families while screaming about genetic contamination. Look at those mongrels, he would say, spitting with rage. That's what happens when pure blood gets polluted by inferior races. Uncle Jasper was my father's older brother, a disgusting man who had been unmarried his whole life because he was waiting for the perfect genetic match. He would visit our house every Sunday wearing his white supremacist patches and stare at me with these hungry eyes. She's got the family bone structure and the perfect lily white skin, he would tell my parents, running his gross fingers along my cheek. When I turned 18, my parents announced at my birthday dinner that I was officially engaged to Uncle Jasper, and the wedding would take place in 3 months. Congratulations, sweetheart, my mother said, clapping her hands together with excitement. You're going to help us create the most genetically perfect white grandchildren the world has ever seen. Uncle Jasper stood up and pulled out a ring that had supposedly been in our family since the slave trade. I've been waiting 18 years for this moment, he said, grabbing my hand and forcing the ring onto my finger. Finally, I get to claim what's been promised to me since the day you were born and breed some pure white babies into you. Living with this engagement was absolute torture that made me sick to my stomach every single day. Uncle Jasper would come over constantly to bond with his future wife and would corner me in hallways to whisper disgusting things about our wedding night and how many pure white babies he planned to put inside me. I've been studying fertility techniques for decades, he would breathe into my ear. I'm going to make sure you're pregnant within the first month of marriage, and we won't stop until you've given me at least 6 perfect white children. One day I walked in on Uncle Jasper showing my parents a detailed breeding schedule he had created, complete with optimal ovulation timing and genetic probability charts. I couldn't take another second of this nightmare, so I packed a bag and ran away to my friend Quinn's house 3 towns over, begging her family to hide me until I could figure out how to escape permanently. For 2 incredible weeks, I felt like a normal human being instead of livestock being prepared for breeding. Quinn's parents were horrified when I told them about the arrangement and immediately helped me contact social services and legal aid organizations. This is insane, Quinn's mother said, hugging me tight. No one can force you to marry your own uncle for some twisted genetic experiment. But my parents weren't giving up their precious breeding program without a fight, and they showed up at Quinn's house with Uncle Jasper and 2 hired private investigators who had been tracking my phone. You're coming home right now, young lady, my father bellowed, and you're going to fulfill your biological destiny to preserve the white race whether you like it or not. Uncle Jasper looked at me with pure rage and said the most chilling thing I'd ever heard. I've waited 18 years to breed with you, and I'm not letting some teenage tantrum ruin everything. You belong to me now, and I'm going to drag you to that altar if I have to tie you up and carry you there myself. My parents had brought legal documents claiming I was mentally unstable and needed their guardianship, and they threatened Quinn's family with lawsuits if they didn't hand me over immediately. But then Quinn's neighbor, an off-duty police officer, heard all the screaming and came over to investigate. When my parents started ranting about genetic superiority and forced breeding programs to preserve the white race, he immediately called for backup. Ma'am, you can't force an 18-year-old to marry her uncle, he told my mother firmly. That's not legal in this state, and everything you're describing sounds like human trafficking. Uncle Jasper made the mistake of grabbing my arm and shouting, she's my property, and I'm taking her home to breed her like the prize white mare she is, so we can create a master race. The officer arrested him on the spot for assault and threatening behavior, and my parents were detained for questioning about their breeding program. That was 2 years ago, and Uncle Jasper ended up serving 6 months in jail, and I have a restraining order against him. My parents still send me letters saying I've doomed our bloodline refusing to preserve white supremacy. To this day, I'm grateful that I never have to see any of those racist monsters ever again.